In this video, I continue my philosophy of sex, and I will talk about a book by Naomi Wolf titled Vagina, and I have a few comments to make about it. But the first thing is that I know that women have no will of their own. Only men possess the divine principle of will, which is to set determination to abstract from everything and to let the will become manifest. And women are a reflection of men's will. So the rise of feminism is a manifestation of the inherent lack of will of Western men. And yeah, this book is genuinely revolutionary for many reasons. And it says that it is politically incorrect, which is kind of ironical because it comes from a feminist. So it's an inner negation. It's a dialectical negation. It's the negation of feminism from within. And one of the main ideas expressed by the book, I'm just commenting on the beginning of the book, is that science, empirical rationalistic science, is proving that there is a connection between the brain and the vagina, and that if, I simplify, if the vagina is properly stimulated, the brain will function in harmony and women will be happy. I simplify. My view is that it's partly true, but the only thing that I want to add is that the brain is stimulated by ideas which are immaterial and by logical ideas. So the real truth is that the pure immaterial, overworldly, supernatural, metaphysical principle stimulates the brain, and the brain stimulates the rest of the body. Because I've read that in a book about Spinoza by a neurobiologist. The emotions that we experience are chemical neural wirings, neural structures, which are chemical reactions within our brain, and the emotions that we feel are correlated by the chemical structure of the electromagnetic and chemical reactions within our brain. And when we feel joyful or happy or peaceful, it is when the structure, which is an immaterial, it's a form, it's immaterial, when the structure of our brain is balanced. And yeah, so my view is that the idea, as Hegel means, is that which stimulates the brain, and the brain stimulates the vagina for women and the whole body for men. What women seek in sex, I've said it in previous video, is ecstasy. It's to lose themselves, to lose their empirical individual ego and to rejoin with a higher transcendental principle. And they want to be liberated from their material physical existence. And this is what the philosopher also seeks. And yeah, and about God. God is masculine, but he's also feminine. In the absolute, God is masculine because he's the principle of the will which brings forth creation. But God can only produce something out of himself. So what God wants is to fully reveal himself to himself by fully understanding himself. And he can only understand a mirror of himself, which is his own creation. And in the process, God is the active principle, what Kant, in the Critique of Pure Reason, calls the spontaneity of the concept, and the receptive principle, which is more feminine, which is sensibility, or the sensuous aspect. So God thinks his own affections, and he's both active and passive. And when you understand this reciprocal process, you become one with the mind of God. But yeah, so God is both man and woman, but he's the manly principle which unifies masculinity and femininity. So it's like Hegel's definition of the absolute, the identity of identity and difference. So yeah. Women who experience orgasm, according to Mrs. Wolf, they are confident, they are creative, and they make connections between things. And when God enables us to have brilliant ideas, we men feel the same thing. We become in a positive mood. We become conquering, bold, daring, creative. We make connections between things. And there's a German theologian of the 18th century which said that chemistry and theology were one thing. So um, when women are confident and creative and make connections between things, it's because their vagina has been properly stimulated, and which makes their brain function harmoniously, which is just a chemical structure, a neural or neuronal wiring, a neural structure within their brain of chemicals interacting with one another. So the revolutionary aspect of this book is that it proves and it teaches to women and to men also that there is a connection between the body and the mind, and that feminism, traditional feminism, said that women were not women, that it was all cultural. One is not born a woman, but one becomes a woman. So the traditional feminist movement sought and wanted to eradicate the body of women, and this feminist is re-implementing the union of mind and body in modern feminism, and shows that it is the condition of the joyful experience of being a woman, and the more women understand their body, the more they can attain state of confidence, creativity, connectivity, and joy. And yeah, so the great dialectical irony is that this woman, Mrs. Wolf, is introducing sociobiology within feminism, and sociobiology is the missing link between the philosophy of nature and the philosophy of spirit, because spirit is incarnate in a body. So the basis of all the social sciences is the psychology, the individual mind, and the mind is a reflection of the body, and it is in connection with the body. So one cannot think, or maybe God, but humans cannot think outside of their body. They need to be incarnate and to be within creation in order to think and to reflect. She notices that pornography is destructive and prevents elevation in men. She makes the connections, which is a very Hegelian thing to do, between sexual pleasure for women, uh, an empowerment of their biology, and she notices that this biological empowerment, which is the result of sexual pleasure, empowers them psychologically and politically. Then again, she makes the connection between biology and psychology and politics, which is a very bold move, and that's why she's a brave feminist, and her book might be very influential. So she notices the reciprocal interaction between body and mind. She also mentions the effect of the mind on female arousal. Women can be very excited. Men who are talented can excite and arouse women by speaking them words, and women know it because romantic novels is for women what pornography is for men, and women, if properly seduced by words, they can become very excited, and that's quite comical for when you can seduce a woman by your words. It creates a state of attraction in her, and that's very funny. Um, she says that feminists want to avoid essentialism, but Hegel teaches us that the concept of the essence, or the essence of the essence, is to manifest itself. The essence is not above the existence, but the existence is the manifestation of the essence. So God is the world being made manifest, and the truth about anything is the totality of its manifestations. The truth about a country is the history of this country. The truth about women is the history of women, because the essence is not far beyond or in an otherworldly, God knows where realm. The essence makes itself phenomenon and existence. To exist means to go out of the essence. And yeah. She said that these information are fascinating about ourselves. So she is in this intellectual process of when you understand yourself and your determinations, it's kind of liberating and it brings joy because you understand yourself, you feel connected to the whole of the world and to others, and knowledge is liberating, and yeah. And I would like to conclude by, she mentions tantric evidence, the tantric influence show. We have a modern popular feminist writer who says the same thing than Evola, basically the most far-right, obscure, dark master of mysticism and the most misogynistic in popular view, but that's not really true. Misogynistic master of occult sciences, and this very famous feminist writer, she agrees partly with Evola, and the purpose of cultural Hegelianism is to dialectically negate cultural Marxism. And cultural Marxism has brought about frustration in the sexuality of women because they deceive about the nature of women's sexuality by saying that women are only culturally determined to be women and that everything is a product of patriarchy and oppression and so on. And cultural Hegelianism seeks to show to women, but I am not cultural Hegelianism. Like I said, it's in other video, it's the self movement of reality. It's the self negation of cultural Marxism, because feminists are proving to women that their body is essential in the being of who they are, and the understanding of their bodily determinations is necessary and essential in their self-liberation and the enjoyment of themselves. And the more men and women understand themselves and their body and the connection between their emotions and their ideas, and the more they can attain liberation. And yeah. And I would like to conclude by putting two songs by Rihanna in the description below. It expresses in modern pop culture an aspect of the truth about femininity, the way women want to be gently played with, so to speak. And yeah, so the idea that I want to summarize is that sexuality in the realm of physical nature has a spiritual dimension, and she is acknowledging it, because what the highest point of sexual intercourse for women is seeing the interconnectedness of all things and becoming one with the whole of reality. And this is also the purpose of philosophy in a more intellectual way, but they are seeking to achieve the same thing. So yeah, that's it for now.